Hey, good morning, y'all. Welcome back to Sidewinder Shed. It's Sunday, and what is this? The 7th? It sounds good to me. Sunday, April 7th, and it's about 10:42 in the morning. I just got off the phone with my sister, Carol. I call her every weekend. She lives in Massachusetts. Don't hold that against her, but anyway, um, just talking to her and figured I'd hop online here for a little bit, do a quick impromptu live stream. I'm waiting for the weather to warm up a little bit. I got a couple vehicles and stuff to work on later on today. Uh, but I don't feel like I'm old now, and I just don't feel like going out in the cold. It's supposed to get up in the mid 60s here in Virginia today, and so I figured I'll just wait till it warms up a little bit more. See how things go. Um, Probably hang out till about noontime. And I'm sorry, just in case, what I'm trying to do here is here we go. Set up the link. So if anyone wants to hop on, just go in the comment section here and click on that link that's up there, and y'all can come on. But anyway, just sitting out here in the back porch, yakking away. And again, just talking to my sister, catching up on things that going on up there in Massachusetts, filling her in on a few things that are going on down here in Virginia, and a couple of things I got to work on. My last Wednesday, I get a call about 10 o'clock at night from my oldest daughter. Needs help. Her car broke down. It's about 50 degrees out, pouring down rain. She's in the middle of nowhere, but fortunately, the middle of nowhere was only about 5 miles away from the house. So I went out there to see what was up, and yeah, she's no street lamps, no nothing, pitch black, of course. Couldn't see anything. I went out there with the old truck, and she told me her battery had died and she lost power. So I figured it was the alternator, and it is. But I took the battery out of my camper. Excuse me. Took the battery out of the camper. Camper has its own battery, and I keep it on trickle charge. And so that was fully charged just in case I had to swap batteries. But fortunately, honestly, all I had to do was I have a good heavy set, real thick set of jumper cables, and I have a nice, real good battery in my truck. And it just sat there for a half hour and charged her battery up. Obviously, I have a good alternator in my truck too. And that was good enough to get her home. She followed me home. I told her, don't turn your headlights on, just keep your four ways on, follow me, and she can follow my tail lights. And we got her home. We got her to my house. The car's in the driveway. But it's a Mazda Tribute. Transverse mounted engine, which means sideways instead of this way. And the alternator is at the very bottom. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know what half of the car I have to take apart because I know the frame and everything else is going to be in the way. She might end up having to take it to the shop, bring it to the garage. And I hate to admit this, 10 years ago, I would have already had it done. I probably would have been 10 years ago. I probably would have been just so pissed off. I would have done it that night, even at midnight. But no, I'm old. My body doesn't move like it used to, and everything hurts a whole lot more. Wham, wham, wham. Poor me. But hey, that's just the facts of life. So when it warms up a little bit more, I'll go out and see what needs to be done. And it's got to be something contagious, because I'll tell you what, just a month or two ago, 6 weeks maybe, wasn't the alternator, but the battery in the wife's Jeep went out. It died, had an internal short in one of the cells, and that battery was 5 years old, so that's about the life of a modern day battery. And for just 230 some odd dollars, I was able to get another battery for the Jeep. Hey, Justin, how you doing, buddy? I'm just babbling about some stuff I have to do today. And it all entails batteries and alternators. I was saying about 6 weeks ago, the battery in the wife's Jeep, which is about 5 years old, died. I had to pick one up, $235. The battery in my brother-in-law's truck is dead. Fortunately, a friend of ours had bought a new battery, and then the car he had got broke into and then got destroyed. But he was able to save the battery and asked me if I needed one. And I was like, well, yeah, I can always use a spare battery. So he gave me a battery. I'll put that in my brother-in-law's truck and check, see if there's a draw on it or what's going on. And then last Wednesday, my oldest daughter, her alternator went out on her car at 10 o'clock at night, 50 degrees out, pouring rain, out in the middle of nowhere, pitch black. But I was able to get her vehicle back here. It's in the driveway, and it's a Mazda Tribute. I don't know what year, a newer one, not brand new, but a 21st century type vehicle anyway. Transverse mounted engine. Matter of fact, on my YouTube channel, you can see she needed. I already put a new engine in her vehicle, and I got videos of that. It's the one I painted green and pink because she hates those colors, and I hated having to swap the engine. But anyway, yeah, that alternator's not easy to get to, but it's something I'll give it a shot and try. If not, I really have a big feeling it's going to be going to the shop. But anyway, other than that, I should be working on the fence, but that's not a priority really. So I'm going to hold off on that. I do have another small engine for the neighbor that I need to figure out why it's not working. I don't know. And other than that, just working every day. And as much as I get online, and like I said, I have a YouTube channel. Obviously, y'all know. But believe it or not, when I'm at work, I don't like being on camera. I'm a truck driver, and I have a camera that's mounted in the cab of the truck. And for years now, they've been telling us, "Oh no, we don't watch you unless the truck is moving and something sets it off, that's the only time we'll be looking inside the cab, and trust me, there's plenty of things that will set it off. It's a newer truck. If you're following too close, if you stop too quick, if you take a turn too hard, if you swap lanes without using your directional, if you cross a line. Oh my God, what else? It has active radar on the truck too. So if somebody comes too close to you or you come too close to something, all these warnings come off. The truck itself will actually put the brakes on too. You don't have to touch the brakes. If it senses some sort of collision danger or something like that, it'll lock the brakes up. Not supposed to, because it has anti-lock brakes, so it doesn't lock the tractor brakes up. But not all these trailers, especially when they're empty, have anti-lock braking systems on them that work. That's a key word, that work. And so far, that truck has locked the brakes up on me 3 different times. Twice was due to a bird, actually 4 times. Twice was due to birds flying in front of the truck. Once was due to a Jersey barrier on a sharp corner on an off ramp. I guess it picked up the Jersey barrier and in the corner at 40 miles an hour, and the speed limit on that off ramp is 50, even for big trucks. But I guess it picked up the Jersey barrier and thought I was headed towards the wall, and in a curve locked up the brakes. And then the 4th time was a plastic bag that flew across the street as I was in the middle of an intersection, and it locked the damn thing up. That is not safety. That is a safety hazard. But going back to the cameras, yeah. All right, for years now they've been assuring us, yeah, we don't spy on you. Nobody's interested in what you do when you're sitting still and not moving, and even when you're driving, unless something sets it off, we don't watch you. Okay. 90% of my job, all right, is basically I'm a yard jockey. Yes, I make deliveries, I go certain places and everything. A road trip for me nowadays. Farthest I go is actually basically from where I'm working, the yard, right over here by my house. That's 26 miles one way. Okay. There's a few places over here I deliver to every now and then, and that's a road trip for me. When I know I'm doing that, I'll bring a change of clothes with me. I'll pack extra food, and I'll bring my pillow and sleeping bag just because it's a road trip, 26 miles, 52 all the way, round trip. That's long distance for me now. But yeah, 90% of what I do, I'm on the yard. I'm on private property. Okay. I got a call that safety had an issue with me because I was driving and I lit a cigarette as the truck was moving. I went just like you see, like that, lit a cigarette, hands off the steering wheel, truck was moving. I was doing 7 miles an hour. I have a digital readout. I was going straight, and I'm in the drop yard, which means that's where we drop the empty and loaded trailers. And I was hooked up to a trailer, taking it roughly 300 feet from the drop pad to the dock door. I just pulled out. Nobody's around. There's nothing there. No trucks, no people walking, no anything. Perfectly clear view of sight. Nothing to set the alarms off. Nothing to trip the camera to turn on. And I get a call because I lit a cigarette while I was driving. 7 miles an hour, private property, straight ahead. I'm like, how the hell do you know I did that? And I'm not the only one. There was another guy, he was sitting in the dock, waiting to be unloaded. He gets a call because he blinked too many times. They said he was tired. It's like, well, yeah, he's been sitting in the door for 2 hours. Of course you're going to get tired. But the truck isn't moving. What set the camera off? Don't be lying to me. So anyway, I kind of went off. And we do have a button up there on the camera, which you hit that and it records for 20 seconds. And so I went off a little bit. I hit the button. I said, well, you all like watching me? Let me tell you what, I have a YouTube channel. And I gave him my YouTube channel, Sidewynders Shed, on YouTube. As a matter of fact, I even grabbed my phone, brought up a couple of videos. And I kept hitting that button every 20 seconds to make sure that they saw my videos. And I said, and if you're not big into YouTube, I said, you can find me on Facebook also. And I put a lot of the same videos up on Facebook as well. Also told them, make sure, like, subscribe, and share. And good morning, One-Eyed Cat. How you doing this morning? What sounds like BS to you? Was it the story I'm telling, or the fact that they're watching me, or the fact they're watching me is just, personally, I think that's BS too, that they're watching me. But they're watching everyone. Like I said, I'm not the only driver that's had complaints about that. But anyway, it's just a minor one. It's just irritating. One of the reasons why I decided to drive a truck is I didn't have anyone over my shoulder watching me work all day. Oh, trust me, the cameras are watching everything. I don't like it. Don't like it at all. And I know there's only a certain amount of privacy that you can expect sitting inside your vehicle. But unlike a lot of regular people, I'm in that truck, in that cab, 10 to 14 hours a day. And, if there's somebody around that I can see outside, great. I know to watch myself a little bit. But also, you have to understand that truck sits up high. A lot of people can't see inside the truck. They have a camera there. It sees everything I'm doing, and I don't know when it's on or not unless I hit a certain little green button. Then I know it's definitely on and people are watching. It alerts the people that are supposed to be watching the videos. And it runs for 20 seconds that I know of. Excuse me. And they can always call up previous, the previous day's worth of video if they want to, and they can keep it on longer if they want to. They can control that. But the fact is, there's nothing that alerts you, to let you know if, hey, somebody's watching you. You have no idea. And that just kind of irritates me. Because, hey, look, I'm human. If I'm sitting there and the truck's not moving and there's nothing to watch, why should I worry about it being on or not? And it may sound disgusting, but hey, people pick their noses, they eat sloppily. Hell, they might even catch me watching midget porn. I don't know. But it's none of their business what I do, and the truck's not moving, and I'm just sitting there. But obviously, they can watch whenever they want because it's happened. Drivers have been... Let me put it to you this way. They didn't mention any names, but up in a meeting, they did mention that no matter how big the emergency is and how how bad it is, you shouldn't pee in a bottle when you're in the truck. Okay. And so if you're peeing in a bottle, obviously the truck's not moving, but obviously you're also someplace where you can't get to the bathroom or even step outside the truck. Inside, you do have a limited amount of privacy, okay, where people can't see you. But my question is, if the truck's not moving, how did you know the driver was peeing in a bottle? And why were you watching them? So, yeah, they are, it just irritates me. Uh, but like I said, if they want to watch me, I showed them. I have a YouTube channel, and like I said, you can watch me on Facebook too. I put up videos, I put up reels. Um, I interact on Facebook as well. But anyway, other than that, so I was talking to my sister earlier this morning, and she's she was out there. She has some bird feeders and everything. She's got one squirrel that she's been watching and trying to get to that bird feeder, and she has baffles and everything on it. And she hollered at him, chased him off a few times, and that got me to remembering my grandmother, my Nana Orm. Uh, when I was a little kid, she had some squirrels that were doing the same thing in her yard, and oh, she got all upset about it. And she come in, she said, "I'm gonna get my gun and I'm gonna go shoot them squirrels." And so as a little kid, I'm expecting her to get a shotgun, get some sort of rifle. What she did was she got an old paper sandwich bag, one little paper, blew it up, walked out the back door, and popped that thing. And sure and shit, it sounded like a gunshot. Scared them squirrels out of there. And to be honest with you, I was a little bit disappointed because she didn't have a real gun, but that was her. Thinking back about it now, was kind of funny. That was her gun, and she had a whole stack of those little paper lunch bags. That was her armory for the squirrels and blue jays. She didn't care for blue jays either. But anyway, that's what I told my sister Carol to do. I said, "Hey, you get any of those old paper lunch bags hanging around?" Nana Orm used to do that. That was her gun. She used to shoot them with the paper lunch bag. Boom. But and I don't know. Later, I'm just waiting for the weather to warm up a little bit. It's supposed to be in the mid 60s today. It's sunny. It's nice out, but it's still a little bit cold, a little bit chilly for me. And I got some work to do on a couple cars. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you appreciate that one-eyed cat. Yeah, yeah. Lunch bag and yeah, yeah. That was funny. Like I said, and first time she did it, I was convinced she was going to get a rifle, but no, she got the lunch bag. That was her gun. That was her gun. And I saw her do that several times when we used to go visit her and everything. But yeah, but anyway, I got a few electrical issues. My daughter's car needs an alternator, but it's transverse mounted engine. It's on the bottom. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I'll go check it out here in a little while. And my brother-in-law John's truck, he needs a battery, which fortunately just 2 days ago, a friend of ours gave us a brand new battery. Oh, well, hey, one-eyed cat, I'd rather work on that 62 Valiant than this 2000 whatever Mazda Tribute. That's for damn sure. And what kind of carburetor are you putting on it? Is it stock or what'd you get for it? And what's it got for an engine in it? I probably should know, but it's morning and well, it's mid morning, almost afternoon, I guess. And I've only had 2 cups of coffee and 1 Sprite, which, yeah, no beer today. It's a school night and I got work I got to do. So give me a second, though. I'm going to grab another Sprite. Well, not really a Sprite, it's an off brand one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm still with you. I forgot I have the headset on. The cord is long, it's about 15 feet long. But, yeah, I'm not sponsored, but it's an off brand Sprite. It's pretty good, though. You got to be careful. Can't have too many of those. I think they're a little bit stronger than the regular Sprite. But yeah, I got those vehicles to sort out, and I got a small engine for the neighbor. I have to figure out he needs it. It's on a. It's to power his masonry saw. It's a gas-powered masonry saw, and he's building a garage almost the same size as my shed, but he's building a garage out back, and he's going to need that here next week. So I got to get that running. But anyway, believe it or not, putting the 1 barrel back on it now has a 440. Oh God, I can't read. I didn't bring my glasses with me. With 2.4 intake, I'm running a 4+1 5 barrel. Oh, okay. I got you. So you're running a 4 barrel and a 1 barrel on a 440. Okay, and it has dual quad intake on it. I got you. So you ended up. That's interesting. That's interesting. But so let me ask you this: Are you using the 1 barrel as a secondary, or is that your primary, and then the 4 barrels kick in? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that type of setup. So I mean, how do you have it set up? Pardon me, I'm thinking kind of 6 pack where your center carburetor is your main carburetor, and then the other two kick in later. Oh, Christ, yeah, that'd be an interesting. Hey, I'd like to see that when it's set up. See what it looks like. That's just me. It's interesting. And okay, all right, I got you. You use the 1 barrel for the primary, and then the 4 barrel kicks in later. All right, cool. Mechanical secondaries on the 4 barrel, I'm assuming, as opposed to vacuum secondaries. That's got to be the linkage on those two. That's got to be another interesting setup. Ooh, pardon me. But my God, see this. I love stuff like that. The thought and the engineering doing it at home or even in a shop, to figure out weird things like that. That's pretty cool. Progressive linkage, mechanical. Yeah. Yep, that makes sense. That's awesome, man. That is really cool. I like that. I like that. All backyard built. Yeah, see, that's incredible. I mean, there's I love stuff like that. There are so many people out here that do what you're doing, but there's even more out here that don't think you can do it unless you have an unlimited budget and a clean room to put stuff together. You know, I don't know. You see, a lot of people, they, no matter what you think about, and sorry, I'm stuttering. Let me start over. No matter what you think about Uncle Tony's garage and everything, I love that. And everyone likes, he gets a lot of people that make fun of him for what he does and how it don't work, but he's got the same idea. This is what we have to work with. I'm not, a big shop with all this fancy equipment and everything. And this is what he did as a kid and what everyone did back in the 70s. And you know what? They had the same problems back then that he's running into now. But it's the idea that you don't need to have a lot of fancy money and buy stuff just off the shelf to have fun. And God love him, he's having fun doing what he's doing, which is great. And a lot of times, yeah, it fails. It falls apart and he keeps tinkering and everything. And he's older than me. I wish I had the energy he has. But I enjoy that stuff. He tries weird stuff, and he tries old school stuff. What can you do with what you have? And it's there's some good stuff to be learned there. And nowadays, yeah, if you have the money, you can buy anything you want off the shelf. But like you're doing too, a 4 barrel with a 1 barrel combination, I, I've never seen it before. Again, I don't have a lot of that experience, but that is a cool idea. I like that. Okay, your uncle set it up that way. Awesome. I like that. And that is cool. That is cool. I like weird stuff like that. Like I said, man, that would actually be awesome to see. Oh, that would be awesome to see. And forgive me for being ignorant. I can't keep everything straight in my head either. Do you have your own channel? If you do, put it up here on the comments, man. Put it up there, and you know, the other person beside you that's watching it right now might check your channel out. I don't have a big channel. Yep, like I said, use what you got. He didn't have a second 4 barrel, so he adapted the 1 barrel to fit. That's awesome. Throw your throw a link to your channel up on the comments here. Um, and then if you see this video up again tomorrow, uh, go in the comments and put another link up there. And you know the few subscribers I have, they might come over to your channel. I know every little bit helps. I'm still waiting on 12 more, so I can 12 more subscribers so I can hit the 500. So yeah, I don't have this, not a big channel at all. And I'm sure on my live streams too, if I was to kind of advertise that I'm going to be having a live stream, I might have few more people watching me live, but I slip them in whenever I have a chance to. And I can't, if I ever try to schedule a live stream, it never works out. Something happens. Okay, one-eyed cat 3072. Is that here on YouTube, or is that a Facebook? But anyway, yeah, check out one-eyed cat 3072. Okay, whoever else is watching, check out one-eyed cat's channel. YouTube. All right, it's on YouTube. You know, One-Eyed Cat. I'm probably subscribed to your channel as well. Oh, here you go, buddy. I'm gonna add you.
There I
Hey,
am.
there you are. All
Good
right.
morning.
Good morning. How you doing today? Oh, you froze up.
Oh, we
There.
finally got some sunshine after a week.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, today is a beautiful day here in Virginia.
Oh, we're out in Virginia.
Down by the Richmond area, actually not too far away from the Richmond airport. So
All
a
right.
lot of times in my videos and even on live stream, you'll hear the jets and everything going by.
And I got a friend of mine. He lives down near Christiansburg.
Okay, I got you.
He's he's coming up next weekend. He's bringing me a rebuilt 727 he did for me.
Oh, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, good deal.
Yeah, it's got all the good stuff. I ended up I had the old motor out of the Valiant. I got it off my uncle, which was in the Valiant previously. It's 383. And that I just got it because it used to be in the car and it was just going to sit in the garage anyway. And there's a friend of mine's building a race car CUDA
Oh, okay.
that I told him I'd give him the motor if he'd rebuild the transmission for me, which is probably a year or so ago now, which I'm not in a hurry for it,
Yeah.
but he put in all the good stuff. There's a YouTube community on here I hang out with. It's No Name Nationals.
Yes, yeah, that's also one of the reasons why I was trying to get my 500 up,
Oh, you were
500
great.
subscribers. Yeah.
Saying they're having it again this year.
Yep. Yeah. Well, for
It's a great time.
yeah, that I've seen that. I've seen all the videos. Yeah, I know all the a lot of the people there too. That you're talking about, Just Mopar Joe, Bear Rose Garage, all
Yep.
those guys. You
Actually,
know,
just Mopar Joe, he's got an old Voodoo cam that was on the shelf. He's throwing at me for his. I got another motor I'm rebuilding for this Valiant. I'm going to put 2.4s on it this time.
I got you.
But he's giving me a decent sized cam for this motor rebuild, and it should be in the mail right now. He had Ed's machine check it to make sure it was straight, and was it Shane Polito there at Slant Daily Garage? He works at Edelbrock. He profiled it, to see what kind of lifters I need for it and everything. And well, John Wilburn's the one that built that transmission. He's the one that runs that No Name Nationals.
Yeah, yeah, yep, yeah. I'm familiar with John Wilburn. Like I said, I'm familiar with a lot of these guys. I've talked to quite a few of them. Especially through Bear Rose Garage
Here's
and
my
his.
one-eyed cat.
There you go.
That's how I got my channel name was a one-eyed cat.
I got you. All right, cool.
Every time I get on these live, the cat's always in my face, and it's what you see.
I got you. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing. He's a ham.
She
He
loves me
wants
too
the
much.
attention.
This cat was human, should be psycho.
I
The
got
cats
you.
are idiots.
I'm not going to say much because the wife might watch this, and she has 2 cats.
I got 2 cats. Doesn't mean I had a choice.
Yep, yeah, same here. That's why I said that they're the wife's cats, although they've adopted me.
Yes.
Yep.
I've never said yes to any animal that we've had over the years. And the wife got me this cat for my birthday. It's like,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
thanks, honey. I love you too.
Yeah.
But we work with what we got. And we're
Yep.
content with it. Yeah, we're getting geared up for this year's No Name Nationals. September 19th, 20th, and 21st, Sykeston, Missouri.
Awesome. What I'm hoping to do is this spring, I'm hoping to finally get that purple engine that I built for my truck. I'm hoping to get that in this year. It's been ready to go now for a little bit over a year. But again, my truck is my daily driver. So it's
Right.
kind of hard to have the truck down
Come on.
long enough to swap the engine out because I I have to do it in the driveway. I don't really have a shop that the truck can go
Yeah,
to.
I'm that way too. I
Yeah.
ended up a year or two ago. I put in a concrete pad out back, so at least I can get it up on jack stands and not lose hardware in the grass.
Yep. Yeah. I'm fortunate. My driveway is paved, so that helps.
That's a plus.
Yep, that helps. But before I even do that, I'm working on actually getting a run stand together, and I want to run this engine. It's the first engine I've put together from bare block, basically. In
That's the way it's going to be with this. I picked up an RV 440 a couple years ago, just because I wanted to put another motor in it, and the guy had one for sale. I knew it ran because we drove it 16 miles to where the RV got scrapped. There's a friend of mine, he does scrapping for a living. So, we took it up there, and it's like, when you get down to the frame, let me know, and I'll come pluck the drivetrain out of it, which it
Yep.
worked out for him, worked out for me. It was the best $400 I ever spent.
Oh God, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But
Um, you,
like I said though, this engine here that I built in 40 years was the last 40 years ago was the last time I put an engine together from scrap. But this is also the first one I ever actually picked out all the parts for it to build it to my specs,
right.
which is low RPM, uh, high torque. I mean this
Yep.
truck never sees. It's seen 4,000 RPM plus maybe 3 times in the 6 years I've had it. Its
Right.
operating range is really from idle up to about 3,500 RPM.
Yep.
Because it's got an overdrive. So at oh my God, what is it? 2,600 RPM. I'm doing 70 miles an hour in overdrive, and it's a 3/4 ton 4x4 truck. I'm not trying to race it. It's my daily driver.
Right.
But I haul a lot of stuff with it. I got a 2,000 pound camper that slides in the back, and I'd like it not to look at a hill and go, oh my God,
Right.
So I'm more interested in the torque. And I had a lot of friends too that are engine builders because we got the raceway. I live right between the raceway, Richmond Raceway, and Richmond Airport. So raceway, you can hear them. I could hear them last weekend from
I was
my
going to say they
backyard.
was there last week.
What's that?
I was going to say they was there last weekend.
Yeah, yeah,
Richmond.
yep. You can hear them. You can hear them when they come in on Thursdays. To do their testing and warm ups and everything else. Yeah, you can hear them right from my backyard. And but anyway, yeah. So being in this area, I had a lot of friends that were into racing. We also have a few local tracks as
Hmm.
well. And trying to explain to them how I was building this engine and what it was for, they were all on board once they understood. Yeah, I'm not trying to get a 6 or 7,000 RPM engine with the
Right.
throttle open all the time. So this is why I'm not putting bigger valves in it. This is why I'm doing minimal bowl work and porting because I'm more interested in velocity than flow.
Right.
You
Right.
know, stuff like. And this is why I picked a certain cam that I did because this cam is going to quit. It's going to fall flat on its face at 4,500 RPMs. It won't be any good for anything higher than that.
Well, you're supposed to build a motor for job specific anyway. So,
Yep.
yeah, I'm just putting this motor together. Like that cam I got from Just Mopar Joe. It's a Voodoo cam, which I've always thought I was a motorhead growing up. Then my kids were born and I work for a living. So I'm reliving my second teenage years right now, rebuilding this car. It took me to 58 years old to do it, but I'm doing it. Damn it!
Oh, I hear you, man. I'm right there with you. I'll be 58 in July.
Oh,
So,
June. Yep.
oh, okay. Yep. So I'm right there with you, man. I
Yep.
understand it totally too. Um, Trust me, I would have a few more toys, um, and stuff to work on if it weren't for the fact that I like old cars, um, as my daily drivers. So that's where all my time and money goes is to keep them things running. The newest
Right.
vehicle. The newest vehicle I have actually is the wife's motorcycle, which is a 2003. My motorcycle is a 2001, and then her Jeep is a 99, and my truck's a 92.
Yeah, I like
Mm.
the older stuff. I
Yeah,
don't. These new cars nowadays, they're just appliances anyway.
yeah, and I'll be honest with you. This 92 that I have is, for me personally, to be driving it every day. I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit too new for me. Honest to God, it is. When I put that engine in, I'm getting rid of the ODB1 computer. I'm getting rid of the fuel injection. I went back to a 4-barrel carburetor.
There you go.
I went back. Well, the ignition system on it too. I went with a one-wire Dragonfire distributor and everything,
Mm,
so I don't have to go through that. I'm going to eliminate that damn computer. Uh, Totally. It's the third computer, which isn't bad for a 32-year-old truck, but it's the third computer I've had to put in it, and they're getting hard and they're getting expensive to find.
yeah.
So before it goes out again, I'm just going to eliminate it, because
Yep.
it's one of those things. It went out, and it went out on my way home from work, and at the time I wasn't getting out of work till midnight.
Ooh.
And I'm in the middle of Richmond, south side of Richmond, which is not a good area to break down in. But I was fortunate enough to know a store owner. I've known them for 20 years, and I was able to coast the truck in behind their store and leave it there till next day when I could get it towed home. But I don't like the fact that something like that goes out. There was no warning, and there was nothing I could do to even jury
Yep.
rig it to limp it home.
Yeah. You're dead in the water.
Yep. Same with the electric fuel pump. It's the third electric fuel pump I've had in the tank. The second one lasted 3.5 miles. It was bad
Huh.
out of the box. I didn't know it. It was
There's too
bad.
many of that nowadays.
Yep.
Buying
So
chip parts.
that's the other thing I'm going back to is a mechanical fuel pump. Fortunately, with this LA engine, it still had, even though it was throttle body, it still had the long nose camshaft in it. So all I had to do was get an eccentric. I didn't have to get an adapter kit or anything. It was right there.
All right.
So so anyway, and the nice thing is too, what I'm thinking, ooh, pardon me, is I like redundancy. I like having backups, and I used to work on aircraft. I'm actually a licensed A&P mechanic. Um, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that electric fuel pump in the tank, and I'm going to run that as a full return system, just like it is. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll run it through a fuel pressure regulator that has a return system on it, and
Yeah.
I will keep that in the truck and hook that to the carb. And the carb I'm using is a Edelbrock AVS2, and you can plug a fuel intake on either side of the float bowl. So on one side, I'm going to have the mechanical fuel pump hooked up. On the other side, I'll have the electronic or the electric fuel pump, so I can feed either or. And through various switches and valves, I'll be able to turn one off and just run it, run either or. They won't both be
Either
running
or.
at the same time. And of course, with today's stuff, you don't know what's Chinesium anymore, but it's easier to keep a spare fuel pump behind the seat of the truck and change that if I need to. But if I don't, I'll always have the electric or the mechanical as a backup to get me home till I can fix one or the
All
other.
right. At least you have options.
Yeah, and that's what I like, because when I put the camper on it, if that fuel pump goes out and I'm out in the middle of the woods, I don't want to be dropping that tank. I probably won't be able to. Well, I'll be able to drop it, but I'll never get it back in.
Yeah, it'll probably be mostly full.
Yeah, and so just it'd be nice to have the mechanical. If the mechanical goes out and the electric goes out, I'll still have a spare mechanical behind the seat of the truck. And although it's an inconvenience, it's just two bolts, a gasket, a couple of screws for the lines, and boom, you
Yeah,
swap
you
that
could be
out.
back up and running inside an hour.
Yeah. So I mean, and we do a lot of camping out in the middle of nowhere, off grid, where if
Yeah,
the truck goes down, you got to walk 3 or 4 miles out of the woods to a road that's hardly ever used, and hopefully you can get a signal or get somebody out there and try to get some help. So I like to be as self-sufficient as possible. At least be able to idle the truck out, even if it takes me an hour to get it out of the woods. It's better than
right,
walking 3 hours.
right.
I'm sorry, I was babbling there. I went off on a tangent, man. I'm
No,
sorry
that's
about
all right.
that.
It's your live.
But yeah, but that's one of the reasons why I want to get that run stand set up, and I want to get a radiator and everything set up so I've started the engine and it sounds good, but that was without any liquids in it other than oil, and I don't want to run it too
Right.
long. But before I go through the trouble of taking my primary vehicle off the road, swapping everything over, I want to get that engine running as good as possible and make sure it's going to stay together. All right. Like I said,
Yeah.
been 40 years since I've assembled an engine from scratch with parts that I picked out myself. And I don't know, I do have questions about some of these parts. How good are they? Because it's not the first time I've ever run into getting a new part that was bad out of the box. And it's a whole lot easier to run this engine on a run stand for a few hours, on and off, a couple times.
Right.
And if anything is going to let go or break or have a problem, it's already out of the truck. I don't have to spend all that time putting the engine in the truck and then finding out something was bad.
Cool. Right.
So that's my goal for this spring, is to get that thing up on a run stand and run it. I don't have to worry about breaking the cam in. It's a roller cam.
So I was going to say it's probably got a roller in it.
Yep. And the only thing I'm concerned about is seating the rings on it, because I went with the it's got hypereutectic pistons in it anyway, and but I did go with the chromoly rings on it instead of the instead of just cast rings,
Right.
and they take a lot longer to seat and break in, and you have to be careful with them too, because if I run it too rich, it will take
Wash the cylinder.
yeah, it'll wash it out with those, because it's with those it's a finer hone than if you're using cast rings.
Right.
So that's the only thing that concerns me, especially running a carburetor. I want to try and get that dialed in as best I can. But once you get those molly rings broke in and seated and everything, they're good for 300,000 miles. I mean, something else is going to wipe out before they do.
I
They
wish you
last a
the
lot
best of
longer.
luck on that.
Yeah, well, the engine that's in there is 300,000 miles,
Well,
and
yeah, I know
yeah,
they run forever nowadays, but
yeah,
see, on my engine rebuild, I'm going on the cheap. I was just going to rebuild it, make it fresh, and then saying Joe's hooking me up with this cam. I wanted to put some kind of cam in it, just enough cam to know it's got a cam.
yep.
Nothing fancy. And then I'm going to keep everything else stock that I can. I know I'm going to need new lifters. I'm going to need new springs.
Oh, I got you, man. And so, what are you running for racing? You running brackets, or how are you just doing this for fun, or
I started out just doing it for fun. I might run the brackets this year.
oh, that'd be cool.
2 years ago, me and the wife, we went to No Name as spectators because we knew John before he started this deal.
Oh, okay.
Just a year or two, because we met at Chrysler's of Carlisle a year before, and then he started on this No Name Nationals, and we was in from the get go. And after the first year, it's like I wanted to be a participant instead of a spectator, and we went last year. I got the car I got it to pass tech, and man, I don't realize how much I actually did to the car to get it ready. I put floors in it. I put a new front end under it. I put, drive shaft loop. I redid the fuel system, redid the battery box. I put a firewall in the, behind the back seat. And
Good Lord.
by the time
Yeah.
I got done, it's like, holy shit, look at this list. I
Yeah.
scraped all the undercoating underneath the car, which I can do that on a concrete pad now.
Yep.
It's nice being able to roll around on a creeper.
Yeah. Yeah. And also the cleanup's a little bit better. I actually
Yeah.
have a video of my wife out front here with a vacuum cleaner, uh, vacuuming the grass, trying to get all the crap that I've knocked into the front yard.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
can be a bunch.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah.
Saying to this no name, it gave me a reason to work on the car, and I didn't realize how bad off the car was. It was bad. It
I
was a fire.
understand
It was
that.
a fire hazard. It was a safety hazard. But we're taking care of all that, and thanks to no name saying now rebuilding this motor this year. It's like I've always wanted to do that, so now it's my opportunity. It gives me a reason.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. I'm actually I have to calm myself down a little bit on occasion and prioritize things. One is, obviously anything that the house needs that keeps us going back and forth to work and keeps everything working in the house, that takes priority. The vehicles that our daily drivers, that's right up there in priority. So I got to get my truck together first, make sure everything's good with that. But I am keeping my eye out for either a Duster, a Swinger, a Valiant, a Dart, or something like that. Because I got another nice little 318 that's all tore apart right now, just waiting for a project. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
so yeah, that's something. And again, I'm not going to go too crazy. I want to, well, for the first shot, and like I said, I've talked about Uncle Tony's garage, and I have kind of the same idea. What do I have hanging around that I can get this engine together, and a few little things that I can do so that it runs. Throw it in, like I said, a little Dodge Dart, Valiant,
Mhm.
whatever I can pick up cheap, and see how it runs. And
Yeah, it'd
then,
make a great daily driver.
yeah, well, then again, maybe the following year, uh, we'll add a cam, or we'll do
Mhm.
something different to it, and see if we can wake it up a little bit more,
Yep.
and little
That's,
things like that. And I think that would be fun
yeah.
without actually breaking the bank too much. Got to keep the wife happy. That's one of the reasons why that engine was painted purple. That was one of her favorite colors, and so I had to get the good husbanding points. A little bit of
Wow.
brownie
Yeah. Yeah.
points.
They go a long way.
Oh yeah.
Is that purple engine? Is that on your channel?
Yes, yes, it is. The whole build from the beginning when I first got it, and all I was going to do was literally, it was supposed to be a running engine, and it had everything. It was a complete engine, and I was just going to drop it in the truck and take that old 300,000 mile engine out of the truck and rebuild that engine. But when I got to the engine, I did a compression test on it, and had air coming up through the throttle body. Okay.
No,
And I was
bad
like, all right,
intake walls.
yeah, I was like, something's up. And you can see when I took it apart, water had gotten inside that engine. And there was a whole bunch of crud that was in there. And since I took the heads off to see what was up, I said, all right, well, I'll just do a quick down and dirty build on it. Clean up the valves and put it back together. Because I took the oil pan off and I checked the bearing. The bearings looked almost brand new on it. I mean, they were in really good shape. And I said, all right, well, I ain't gonna touch the bottom end. I'll do a quick valve job. And I showed the valve job in my shed, which was nothing but cleaning them up. and lapping them in. And then, basically I did a liquid test on them,
Right.
and everything was holding. And then I got to looking at the bore. And although this engine was supposed to have 100 and some thousand miles on, 150,000, the lip on that cylinder, my God, that thing had to be about 25 thousandths deep. I mean,
Wow, that's a
y-
ridge.
yeah, yeah, that was definitely. I had trouble getting the pistons out. Says I said, all right, well, I'll just try honing it myself, cleaning it up because you couldn't even see any crosshatch
Yeah,
on
that's the way
on the
mine
bore.
is. Mine
Yeah,
mine are smooth like glass. There's no ridges, but it's smooth as glass. So
yeah. No, this one had
I
had
gotta,
a hell of a wear ridge on it. But like I said, it goes through the whole thing of from what I planned on doing and what I ended up doing. So things change when you get into them. That's for damn sure.
oh, I know.
That was damn sure. And I
No,
was actually planning on putting a 4-inch stroker kit in it because, and this was all during COVID that I was doing this. When I checked the prices for everything I needed as far as the stroker kit and pretty much everything, I priced it out, was going to run me around $2,000 out of pocket for all the parts. By the time I got this engine, got it tore down, and was getting ready to order the parts, and they were available again, the damn stroker kit itself was $2,000, let alone the gaskets and everything else. I was like,
right.
oh my god. So in other words, it's just a 40 over with with a standard stroke now. I'm sorry, 30 over. It's 30 over with a standard stroke. I didn't go with the stroker kit. That was out of my budget by that time.
So you had it honed, you had it machined,
Yeah, when I honed it myself and I checked,
bore taper.
yeah, yeah. She still looked like this.
Oh,
It
okay.
it
Yeah.
still looked like a friggin' egg. Because trust me, I wanted to go minimum over. I really didn't want to go more than 20 over. Uh, but 20 over wouldn't clean it up. 30 over did. 20 over was kind of borderline from what the machinist was telling me.
Yeah.
He said I had two cylinders that would have been right real iffy at 20. So I said, well, I got to get pistons anyway. Let's
Yeah.
go 30
30
over.
over.
Because
Well,
like
at
I said,
least you know they're true now.
yep. And like I said, it's going to be a daily driver. That's why I didn't want to go 40 over or more. I don't want to run into heat issues when I'm going up a hill with 2,000 pounds on the back. Overheating issues, and stuff like that. I like to be a little bit more conservative. I mean, I'm sure 40 over would be fine. Like, let me have that little extra 10 thousandths there.
Yeah, it can make a big difference.
Yeah. At 318, though, my other idea, because I've seen it done with 340s back in the day, and if it's affordable, I know they make them now from well, they did from Mopar Performance. They make a 360 crank with with the 318, 340 main bearing, main
Mhm.
journal size.
Yeah,
And they used to do this back in the day to the 340s because it was a quick, easy um,
easy
stroker.
power.
Yeah, stroker.
Mhm.
They would take a 360 crank and they would have the journals turned down to fit the 340. And right off the shelf, you could buy oversized 360 pistons. And they use the same connecting rods. All small block Mopars have the same exact size connecting rods.
Yeah,
And I've seen that. I saw that done back in the day, 3 or 4 different times. They'd make a 340 stroker by using the 360 crank. And if you could get the only problem they would run into is trying to get the damn thing balanced because it's all external balance. And when changing the stroke and the piston weight and everything else,
yeah, it
uh,
changed.
Yeah, especially the dynamic balance, it changes that big time. But that's, again, maybe if it's within the budget, that's something I'd like to do to that 318. I don't know. I haven't checked. I know the crankshaft isn't that expensive, but I don't know what the pistons are like because
Yeah,
I've made.
I'd be afraid to dig that deep into pricing everything for this.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't even want the wife to accidentally see my history on for looking up
Right.
things here. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that be until I
Yeah.
get
That's
a project
what
car for that.
wife was asking me. It's like that motor ran when you pulled it. Why did you doing anything to it? Just because I can.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. That was the same thing. Again, that's why the engine's purple too. To make her happy because she's like, and my friends were no help because they're all Chevy guys,
Mm.
and they're like, you spent how much to build that engine? You could have bought a brand new one, or you could have built two or three. Or they say
Yeah,
I
it's
could have
like,
built two or three Chevys. I'm like, I know how much were you paying for a piston? Okay, for a 350. Well, they're about $30 a piece. Really? $80. $80 a piston for this engine.
mm-hmm. It's not
Yeah,
Mopar tax.
yeah. Tell me, it's like owning a Harley. Same thing trying to build anything on a Harley. If you're going just because they have the Harley name on it,
Yep.
they raise the price by 10. But yeah, so I'm trying to explain to her, well, honey, yeah, you know what? For what I have in the engine, which I get about $3,500 in this engine, and when I get to put it in the truck, that I can guarantee you it's going to cost me another 5 or 600 uh, when I swap it over, simply for um, what I know is going to break and I'm going to have to fix because that truck and that engine's been together for 32 years. And it's going to be a contested divorce, and there's going to be things I'm going to have to fix and replace. But
Contested. I like it.
oh yeah, they're not going to separate easily. I can tell you that much. But it's like I was explaining to her. Yeah, hon, to get a stock rebuilt engine at the time I built this one was probably about $4,000. I said, so I've already saved 500.
Right.
Okay. Two, it would have been a stock remanufactured engine. This one here, and honest to God, I called a few places and asked prices after this just to show her. I said, now, if you put this in and this, and I gave them all the specs that I put into this engine, what's that going to cost me? Believe it or not, that went up to almost $14,000. Anywhere from I think 12,000 was the lowest estimate I had for them to build the exact engine I just built for $3,500. And
Cat's
so
ready for a nap.
I see, but yeah, prices have gotten outrageous, man.
Oh, I know. And if you want it, you still got to get it.
Yep, yep, and like a lot of people say too, sometimes you do have to make compromises. Hence the fact it's only a 30 over standard stock instead of a 30 over with a 4-inch stroke on it. Hey, I couldn't see spending that extra amount of money on this engine. I mean, I don't know. I still have the old engine. When I swap it out, I'll still have the old engine. Maybe in the
That's what I'm
future.
looking forward to. I'll still
Yep.
have that other motor.
Yep. Maybe in the future I'll be able to go hog wild on that engine. But that's cool, man. You still so that 5 barrel works pretty good on that the way you have it set up on that engine.
Yeah, I've been running it since I bought the car, and that's been 10 years ago.
Wow. That like I said, I've never seen that. I've never even heard about that.
Yeah, a lot of people scratch their heads on it.
But that's cool. Do you have that up on your channel showing it?
Yeah.
Do you? Oh, awesome. All right. Like I said, forgive me, man. Anyone that subscribes to this channel, I usually go right to their channel and subscribe, but that doesn't
Mhm.
mean I actually remember or you know what I
Right.
mean? And I don't mean to be ignorant or anything like that. It comes naturally to me. But yeah, and I got a feeling it's just gonna be worse. The more people I get, if the channel
Yeah.
keeps growing, it's just gonna be, I'm sorry, who are you? Yeah, you
Yeah.
talked to me last week. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh
Trying to
God.
pick your own brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, my God, last night, took the wife out to eat, and this guy comes up to us and goes, "Hey, they let anyone in here, don't they?" I know him. I couldn't place him. It turns out one of those deals. It's a guy I work with. I don't see him that often, but we work at the same place. And so when I see him out of context, it didn't click. I
Right.
knew him, but I didn't know from where or how or who the hell he was
Yep.
until after a couple minutes. It's like, oh, yep, I work with him.
So yeah, now I
Okay.
remember. I
Yeah.
get that. Yeah, if you see him out of context, it really throws you.
Mhm. Geez, and
That's the only reason I started my channel was for no name.
oh, okay. All right. I did this as a hobby. I mean, if you check my channel out, I got everything from cooking, cast iron, woodworking, camping, along with automotive, and it's a smorgasbord of
Yeah.
everything. And I kind of started it as a hobby, but also for the fact that I had a lot of people, as mostly younger at the time, going, "How did you do this? Who'd you pay to have it done?" I'm like, "You don't need
Did it
to.
myself.
I did it myself." Yeah, that's why
You
it's
don't
not
have to pay nobody.
right. That's why it's not perfect either,
Right.
and that's also, especially a lot of my woodworking. I use scrap wood. I use wood that people would either be throwing away. They call it reclaimed wood. No, it's not reclaimed. They were going to throw the shit away. I grabbed it and said I can use it. Pallets. A lot of the stuff I made is out of pallets as well. And
Well, there's a lot of good lumber in pallets.
oh man, that was. I used to get pallets. Being a truck driver, it's easy for me
Oh
to get
yeah, yeah.
pallets that nobody wants. And I was so surprised. A lot of it came from overseas too. And when it comes from overseas, dimensions are a little bit different, but a lot of it was German oak.
Right. Yep.
A lot of it was fruit trees, uh, apple, cherry, um, peach. It's all weird wood, and I wouldn't have known this until I had somebody that was. Well, I used to deliver to several different lumber yards. Basically, they raw lumber. I used to get a lot of raw lumber from them to
Mhm.
lumber mills, not lumber yards, lumber mills, wood mills. And I got to know the people. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of wood this is. And I bring it to them. They go, "Where'd you get this?" I said, "It's from pallets." And they said, "Okay, because you're not supposed to be using this wood. They're not supposed to be cutting these trees down here and using them for." I said, "Well, they came from overseas, different things." Like, okay, all right, but yeah, all sorts of wood, and a lot of that wood too from the pallets. It's beautiful. I love the grain. I
Mhm.
hate I hate putting paint on anything wooden. I
I'm
rather
the
have it
same way.
stained. Yeah.
I like natural wood.
Yep.
So
Um.
I used to work at a veneer mill years ago.
Okay.
And that's slicing it down to, then they get saying what's leftovers. It's like I used to pick them piles all the time. I'd say a board would come out of the machine. It's like, oh man, that's a dandy.
Oh yeah.
They're just chipping it for the boiler.
Yep. 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 But like I said, yeah, that was what I was trying to impart to a lot of people through my channel. I'm not an expert on anything. Okay, I'm a regular guy, regular Joe, but this is how I grew up. All right, I'm the youngest out of 16, so my folks never had any friggin' money to begin with. And,
Wow,
and
16.
yeah, 8 boys, 8 girls.
The wife's got you beat. She's one of 17.
Oh, you got me by one. Got me.
Yes.
Was it a boy or a girl?
The
I
last
don't know so many of them.
she's so many she don't keep track anymore.
I understand that. My oldest brother, I only met 3 times in my life. He's gone now. But yeah, my oldest brother, I only met him 3 times. He moved to Nova Scotia before I was born.
Wow.
Yep. And
That's
so
back when everybody had family, or a big family was they were farmhands.
yep, yep. Well, that's my dad was born in the backwoods of Maine, 32 miles this side of Canada. All right, and he was born in 1914. And
Wow.
his father, his family, they were farmers up there. And
Mhm.
so yeah, the more kids you had, the more help you had. You didn't have to have hired hands.
Yeah, I remember coming home from elementary school and have to go out and weed the beans.
Mm. Yeah, that makes me cringe, right? This is why I don't have a garden. Okay.
My mom had a garden her whole life, right up
Yeah.
to the day she passed.
Well, my dad did too. All right, but let me explain to you. His garden was 3 friggin' acres. That was his garden. That was not a farm. That was his garden, 3 acres.
That's a
And
lot of work.
yeah, that's a lot of gardening work too. That's a lot of weed pulling. That's a lot of tilling. That's a lot of picking the peas and the beans and everything else on a nice day. When you could be out with your friends riding your bike or something.
Yep, you're out there harvesting or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, just taking care of it, just regular maintenance.
Yeah,
And like you said, it was a daily thing. It really was.
yeah. Well, saying our parents, it was people had to, you know, self self suffice. They had to take care of their own. There was no that's before subsidies, and that's when
Oh yeah.
the neighborhood took care of its own.
Yep. Yeah, that
We
is
had
for
a
sure.
we had a garden that was probably a good acre and a half growing up.
Yep.
But the guy up on the hill, he had equipment. He'd come down and he'd till the garden, rake it and harrow it and all that, and he'd get it ready for her because he knew what her situation was.
Right.
He'd
See,
just take a day, come down, and I don't think he even took fuel money.
that would have been my dad. My dad would have been that guy on the hill that you're talking about.
Yep.
He had all the stuff and he would help anyone in the world, you
Yep.
know. And a lot of times, yeah, he'd do it for free. And it'd be like, well, why? Well, because 40 years ago, when I was in that situation, somebody else helped me.
Hmm.
And I could never pay them back. So I'm going to pay somebody else back.
Done. 8 boys, 9 girls.
Yeah.
Wife says 8 boys, 9 girls.
Yeah. She beat me by one girl. We have 8 boys, 8 girls.
Oh no, I'd be afraid to bring kids up in today's society the way
Mm.
it's going.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. It's rough. It's rough. But you know what? I'm proud of my kids because, again, another thing about my YouTube channel, I was able to impart some self sufficiency on them and the values that my folks imparted on me.
Hmm.
I was able to hand that down to them, and so they can deal with the real world. They don't run to their safe spaces or cry or get upset when somebody doesn't agree with them. And trust me, if you don't agree with them or think the same way they do, they won't end a friendship. They will argue the point with you, but that's just one point, and it's not worth. And they will listen to you also. And a lot of times, just like me, they'll sit there and go, "Well, I'm sorry, we're going to have to agree to disagree." Okay.
Agree.
And the nice thing is, too, they
Yeah.
will give you your valid points. All right. The point you brought up was valid on this, and I'll think about it, but you're still not changing my mind. Or a lot of times, what happens because they're willing to listen, they're like, good points. Yeah. I'll think about this. I'll research it, and hey, guess what? You were right. And now I understand your point of view and your position on this. And hey, you taught me something.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, the
know,
world does not have to agree with you.
no, it doesn't. And it would be just as bad if everyone agreed on everything. You know the old phrase, preaching to the choir. Well, if there's no discourse or difference of opinion, you never learn anything. You're stuck in the same loop, in the same thing, thinking the same things over and over again. There's no
Yeah,
progress.
yeah, just another brick in the wall.
Yep, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, I refuse to be a sheep.
Oh, same here. Now, with that being said, I will listen again. I'll listen to anybody's opposing opinion.
Right.
And
Doesn't
like,
mean you have to agree with it,
no,
but
no, but
at
you
least
might
you're open
learn
to
something.
yeah,
You might learn so even if that's how to have a better argument for your point of view. You know what I mean?
yeah, I get it.
The more information you have, the better off you are, even if that's from the opposing point of view. So now I still think you're wrong, but I understand why you think this way. So now I can go back and give you a counter argument, which might change the way you see things, might change your perspective, because now I understand your perspective. I know I'm babbling again. Would you be so kind as to give me a second? Because I just smoked my last cigarette. I have to go grab a pack, and it'll
That's all
just
right.
take.
I'm going to go hit another cup of coffee quick anyway.
All right. Well, come back here because I'm enjoying talking to you if you're enjoying listening to me. All right. All right,
I'll be
sir.
right
I'll
back.
be right back.
Should
Oh,
I mute this?
and for the two people that are watching us, please forgive me. We'll be right back.
Microphone's still on.
He lives down there towards John.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, guys, I'm back, and yeah, I'm sorry. I said I should take it easy on this uh, imitation Sprite because it's very strong, but I just had to have another one. Mopar, yes, intermission. Yeah, intermission's all done. Hey, thank you for tuning in, my friend. I appreciate it. And thank you for the comments and watching my channel. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. It's actually starting to warm up here. I'm reaching down to turn off the little heater that I have. There you go. Sidewinders Philosophy Sunday. We'll be right back. I like that. Hey, I might use that on the next live stream. I might do that. I like that. That's cool. And oh, here's a quick disclaimer. I have licenses and even a couple of degrees on everything else except psychology. As far as that goes, yeah, don't take anything I say with a grain of salt. And if it works for you, I'll take the credit. If it don't work for you, it's not my fault. I already told you not to listen to me. Mopar Nut was in here. He said,
He's a regular over there at No Name
"Yep.
Nationals.
Oh yeah. He's one of my subscribers, and he leaves some good comments every now and then. So I do
He,
appreciate that.
he
But
might talk you into No Name Nationals too.
Yeah, well, I'd like to try it this year if I can get the truck together and get it reliable.
That's your motivation.
Yep. But
I think you're down to 176 days.
mm, sounds like a long time when you're waiting for it to get here, but when you got crap you got to do in order to get there,
Oh, I
it's not
know.
that
It counts
long.
down faster than you think.
Yeah, that's not long at all. But I like he left a comment up here that said when we went on intermission, he put up intermission when we both
Yep.
walked out, and then he put up Sidewinders Philosophy Sunday. We'll be right back. I like that. I don't know. Can you guys see the comments? Can you see the comment section? I'm still trying to figure
Yeah.
out the yard stream. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I like that. If I actually could figure it out, I would have had it up on the screen like Kim does at Bear Rose.
Yeah. Met Barrows. He's quite the character.
Oh man, he is great. I love him. He's such a good guy too.
Do you watch his Sunday nights?
When I can stay awake, I have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I understand that because a lot of times I'll go to bed and can't watch the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll turn it on the TV, but a lot of times, about 15 or 20 minutes into it, I'm like, the next thing I know, my alarm's going off at 3 in the morning. I'm like, damn it, I missed it again.
Yeah. So if you didn't
Oh,
know, John Wilburn still has his Friday nights.
does
He
he?
does Friday night at 8 Eastern.
I gotcha. And again, after 70 hours, Monday through Friday, trying to stay
Right.
up past 7:30.
I
That's
know.
another challenge.
Yeah.
It wasn't so bad 10 years ago, but man,
Yeah. I like
once
my
I
sleep.
yeah, once I went past that double nickel, the 55, it's kind of like ah, it's Friday night. The wife's at work. I'm home all alone, unsupervised. What can I do to get into trouble? I can go to bed by 6:30. That's what I can do. Yay.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't bother me to go to bed anymore.
No, no, that's another thing that goes by so quick. Sleep.
Yeah. I'm a morning person anyway. I'd rather be up early than
Yeah, same here. I'm
done
right
on
there
occasion.
with you. I'm right there with you because I mean, yesterday I was up at 2:30 in the morning,
Wow.
and yeah, well, that's a half hour earlier than my normal schedule, but I'm gonna blame that on the bladder, you know. And this morning I slept in. I didn't get up till 4 this
Wow. There
morning.
you go.
Yep, I got an extra hour's worth of sleep, but you get into such a routine also. It takes me 3 days to break that routine if I have a long weekend or if I have some time off. It takes me about 3 days for my body to break that routine. The problem with that is it takes me 2 friggin' weeks to recover from breaking
Get
that
back in,
routine. Yeah,
get back into the routine. Yeah.
yeah.
That's why Mondays always suck for me.
Oh, yeah,
That's why
yeah,
they invented alarm clocks.
yeah. Oh, I had last Monday off. Easter, where I work, they shut down for 4 days: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And so I had 4 days off. Well, Friday I forgot to turn my alarms off.
I believe that.
And what made it worse was the wife was working second shift, so she did not have to get up at dark 30 in the morning. And here I am. I'm deaf. I'm deaf in this ear. I can't hear anything. So I'm laying with my good ear on the pillow.
I'm that way. I'm partial loss in my left, so I sleep with my right side down. I can't hear squat.
Yep, same here. I never heard that alarm going off until all of a sudden I thought I was in an earthquake. Yeah. No, she had both hands on me, shaking me like that. Why do you have to get up? Do you have to go to work? No, no, I'm off. Why? What's up? Yeah, alarm has been going off for the past hour. I was like, oh, well, it wasn't just a single alarm. I have 4 set.
Oh, redundancy.
Yeah, in case I sleep on my good ear and I don't hear it. Eventually, I will turn over
Right.
or
Wife
or
got
or.
wife got me here a couple weekends ago. It was Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Elbowed me. Don't you have to be to work? It's like Sunday. Oh, okay. Which I appreciate her caring that much that she's saying if I'm late for work or not,
Oh yeah.
because I'm particular about my attendance. I've always been particular about that.
Oh, same here. I mean, to be honest with you, um, I can wake up an hour late and still be to work on time. I just hate rushing, and I'm usually at the latest. I'm usually at work about 15 minutes early.
Yeah, that's why I am.
So
We can't punch in till 10 till
yeah.
6. But my alarm goes off at 4:15. I like to have my breakfast, and I like to be awake when I leave the house.
Yeah, yeah, same here. Same here, because
Mopar nuts wondering what's work.
what's work? Stay tuned. We will explain it to you. You can, if you read
Live
between the
from on the
lines.
road.
Yeah.
You're gonna see Sidewinder pee in a bottle.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No.
crazy about them eyeballing you on them cameras.
Oh, it. Oh, it really irritated. It got to me. It got to me on Friday. It really irritated me so bad. Here's something I wasn't sure if I should say, but I'm usually very even keeled temperament. I got this from my father. It takes a very long fuse, but once
Mm-hmm.
it goes, it
It's
snaps.
gone.
And
Yep.
yeah, and I'm not a big guy or anything, so I'm not intimidating. But Friday, I snapped, and as soon as I got that call about lighting a cigarette, I'm looking at the camera. I hauled off. I whacked that thing. I hit that damn thing so hard. I sent it bouncing all over the
You
truck.
son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah. 20 minutes later, I get a call from my dispatcher. Hey, safety called the terminal manager, said you were in an accident. You hit something stationary. I'm like, I've been
Oh,
sitting still in the yard. I didn't hit anything.
you hit the camera. Camera
Yeah.
moved.
Yeah. He goes, well, I haven't seen the footage yet. I said, Neil, when you see the footage, I'm going to tell you what to look for. I said, look for my fist aimed right for the camera. I said, when you see this, that should explain exactly what happened. He goes, what are you talking? I said, I punched the shit out of that camera. He said, you can't do that, man. They'll get you for destruction of property. I said, the camera's fine. I said, my hand's a little sore, but the camera's fine. I put it back in place. I said, but I didn't hit anything with the truck. I said, tell him to look at the camera. You're going to see a fist coming right towards the lens. That's it. And then you're going to see the camera bouncing all over the truck. And I said, I just punched the hell out of the camera. I said, anyway, I got to go down to safety and talk to them on Monday. Neil said, well, safety wants to talk to you. I said, today is Friday, Neil. Today is not a good day for me to come down there and talk to them. And he said, it's also late in the day. I only got an hour before my shift is done. And he said, all right, yeah, we'll set it up for Monday. Monday's probably a better idea. I said, yes, Monday would be better. Give me the weekend to cool down. I said, because honestly, I don't hate my job and I'd like to keep it. I can't say I like it, but I don't exactly hate it.
Right.
I mean, as far as truck driving goes, like I said, I'm home every night. I got the weekends off. and they pay me really good. They get some decent benefits. They're not great, but they're
Here's
decent.
a picture of my Valiant.
Oh, there you go. Awesome.
My wife got it for me on a coffee cup.
That is awesome, man. Yes.
Yeah, the decals are right there. They're all magnetic. I made them
Okay.
so you can take them on, take them off.
Yeah. Nothing
Actually,
wrong with that.
that picture was taken up at Watkins Glen during the NASCAR race.
Okay. All
People
right.
just gobbled it up, man. They was all over it.
I'm sure. I'm sure that is awesome.
Because we camped outfield, and anytime we went infield, we didn't have the credentials to go infield, but all I had to do is go up and get in traffic. They just waved me through
Awesome, man.
like I owned the place.
Was
It was,
Mopar not asked? Is that a 43?
yep,
What year?
62.
62.
Yeah.
Oh, 43. The number on the side. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on. 40. Yeah, 43 is the number on this. Okay.
Actually, Petty drove
Yep.
he drove his 5th through 13th win was in a 62 Plymouth.
Okay.
I got that from the lady at Petty Museum. She sent me a printout of his, like the first 20 wins he had, and it's pretty cool. It's back when I first got the car, and I seen pictures on the internet with 43 on it, and I had to do research, and it's like, oh man, I'm legit.
Mm.
It's not like I'm just making it up, and I got the paperwork to back it up a little bit.
That is awesome, man. That is cool. I like that. That is awesome.
Yeah, I haven't been to Watkins Glen's only an hour and a half north for me, so I drove it to the track.
Oh, okay.
Towed a trailer to the track. It's got a trailer hitch.
Oh, no kidding.
Everything my uncle has a hitch. He'll tow anything. He's not scared.
You can tow it on a motorcycle.
He had a trailer hitch on his motorcycle.
Yep. Yeah, I was thinking of the camper I keep talking about for the back of my truck, which I have videos of also. That's homemade. I made it myself, and I wanted to. I'm still kicking around. I might make one for the bike as well. Kind of the same idea. What it is for what it is for the truck is it slides in the bed, and it's a hard-sided pop-up. Think of a shoebox. So when I'm driving, it's down and it sticks just a little bit over the top of the cab. And then when we stop, I got 4 electric linear actuators that raises the whole thing up, but there's no canvas. It's all hard sided. And I was thinking of doing the same thing for the bike. Different materials. I won't use wood. Wood's too damn heavy.
Right.
But I'm thinking some aluminum and some composite material, but along the same idea for the bike. Have a little, just a little camper haul on the back of the bike.
Yeah, everybody wants to buy this, buy that, and they're afraid to do home ingenuity anymore.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this much. I got this idea for this camper off of one that they already make. It's called the Alaskan Camper, and you can check them out. But I can't afford them. A new one is going over $60,000.
Wow.
All right, that's way out of my price range.
Yeah.
And then if I could find an old used one, which I've seen a couple, they were still looking for $3,000-$4,000, and it needed a lot of work. Some of them needed a complete rebuild, and the camper I built cost me $2,500 to build it. So again, I have to live within my means. There's other things that take priority over getting a camper. There's other things that are more important than that. So it took me about a year doing it on the weekends and a little bit after work when I had time. And it's still not completely done, but it's usable. I've been using it for the last 3 years, and it's gone through a few upgrades and a few things I changed because this was my first shot at it. It's a prototype, and
Yeah.
so
Cat's
ooh,
alive.
but it works. It's got it's got its own refrigerator. It's got its own power. Got a toilet in it. I got a hot water heater. It carries 25 gallons of fresh water. Plus, I can plug into both shore water and shore power with it. I have an outside shower, hot and cold, and a sink, plus the bed and everything, that you need to be
Everything you need.
comfortable. Yeah. Yeah. I don't have much for electronics in it because, when me and the wife we go camping, we don't want to be sitting in the camper on YouTube or on the phone or
Right.
video or anything like that.
Trying to get
We
away
want,
from all that.
yeah, we want to be outside in nature. And the problem is, our bodies say you don't want to sleep in a tent on the floor or on the ground anymore. You want something comfortable and something that does have some climate control because I have a heater and an air conditioner in there too. And so, yeah, we can be very comfortable. Not to mention, I have a coffee maker as well. So that's really
Oh, there
nice.
you go.
In the morning, I don't have to crank up the fire and percolate my coffee. I got a little 1 cup because the wife drinks tea. She doesn't drink coffee. So I got a little 1 cup coffee maker, and it's just like get up in the morning, boom, hit the button, use the bathroom, coffee's ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
My uncle's still old school. He's got the old percolator coffee, and he built himself a little camp, it's just it's a piece of pipe that's got angle iron welded to make a flat top with a chimney on it,
Yep.
the base, or it's just 4 bolts that he can adjust it. If the table's not level, he can keep the coffee pot level,
Oh yeah. Yep.
and he
Yep.
perks his own coffee.
I got you.
He's 87. He'll be 87 next month, so he's old school,
Oh, I understand that. Matter of fact,
and it can take so little for him to be happy.
yep. I still
Well,
I still have a percolator, coffee pot for camping that my folks had when I was a kid. That my folks used to use when they went camping and everything. I still have that pot. It's in the camper. I keep it there for an emergency backup. If I
backup.
don't have any electricity, I can still make a great pot of coffee with that percolator. Matter of fact, it does make better uh,
I like perk
coffee.
coffee.
Yeah, it makes a whole lot better tasting coffee than the electric coffee maker I have.
Mm,
It's just that the coffee maker takes about 2 minutes, and I don't have to mess with the fire or flame or anything else. I just
right.
push a button,
Yeah.
and that's called laziness on my part. But some conveniences I do like. So some of this
Yes.
newfangled 21st century stuff, coffee in under 2 minutes. Yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, you ought to rethink this No Name Nationals. It's a good time.
Yeah. Oh, like I said, I'd love to. As soon as the thing is, being in Virginia, going that far on a 300,000-mile engine with a camper on it. No,
Yeah,
I don't. I don't want to push that. I want to put the new engine in. Make sure the new engine is going to hold together. Get
that's
that
understandable.
in. Yeah, get that in, and that way there, no worries.
Yeah. Well, this has turned into that's our anniversary weekend, which is end of September, and we've already decided that's our vacation is going to No Names.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
what we'd rather do because 90% of the people that are already there.
Yep.
Like a family reunion.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a family reunion at a drag strip.
Yeah. That is awesome. Like I said, I really would like to get there this year. I won't have anything to race. Although it would be interesting to see what that truck does with the new engine and a 2,000-pound camper on it.
See, And we had a Model A show up last year.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, he run that down the track a couple times. I think it was 17 second in the eighth at 38 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured that's what the truck will do. Maybe it might do 45 with the camper on it in an eighth mile. I might get up that high. All depends how well my transmission holds up. That's the other thing I got to see. It's doing fine, but it would be a smart thing to do to have somebody go through it as I got the old engine out.
The Blue
Right.
Moose went down the track.
Not Mopar, not. Who you kidding? 18th century would be newfangled to us too. Oh, what you know what? I've seen a lot of mechanical stuff from the 18th century that I'm like, wow, how did they design this and figure it out? What gave them the idea to do this? I mean, I've always been mechanically inclined and interested, and especially
Mhm.
it's one of the reasons why I like the old stuff because you can see a lot of the moving parts move.
Yeah.
You know,
Nowadays, it's all electronics, and
and
granted, there are mechanical to it, but it's
well, yeah, once you take off 30 pounds and 55 yards of plastic covering, you might actually find something analog that actually moves.
analog
Yeah.
keyword. That's same with my Valiant. I still got points distributor in it. It's like I want to keep my hassles down to a minimum.
Yeah. Again, like I said, even my truck with the ODB1 computer, that's too newfangled for me. I want to go back, although I do not want to go back to points ignition, especially nowadays. The rider on these new points seems to wear out a
Yeah,
lot
the wear
quicker.
block. Yeah.
Yeah, and so and the fact that I never liked playing with points to begin with, so that's one of the things. And Mopar, not to answer your question, no, it's not a 2,000-pound trailer. It's a 2,000-pound camper that sits right in the back of the truck bed. It check out my channel. I got a whole bunch of videos that show the thing going on the truck, coming off the truck, how it raises up and lowers, um, and the inside of it and everything, and that'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, it's not a pull behind trailer. It sits right in the bed of the truck.
Oh, so if you get a flat tire, you need a good jack,
Oh, yeah, I do. I carry a 10-ton bottle jack with
bottle
me.
jack.
Yep, yep. Um, and the suspension on this truck, it was an old DOT truck. So it came with a heavy suspension to begin with. It was rated stock. It was rated at 9,000 pounds, which would almost make it a W350. That year they started the W350s, the 1 tons. Their GVRW or GVW or whatever. Their gross vehicle weight started at 9,300 pounds. This was at the top end of the W250s. And with that being said, the gentleman that owned it before me put had a custom made heavy duty 4-inch lift suspension put on it. And it also has helper springs in the back. Right now, the thing, and with the bearings and the axles that he had put on it too, it's rated at 12,000 pounds.
That's where a lot of people go wrong. Is the bearings is what you got to worry about. It's not
Yep,
so much suspension. It's the bearings have to carry all that weight.
yep, that's it. And so he has 12,000-pound axles and bearings on the thing. And I'll be honest with you, they don't make a tire that's going to handle all the weight that truck can handle. Because I don't have dualies. I have single
Right.
rear wheel.
How
So,
many ply sidewalls do you have?
well, I'm actually running the truck tires, and it's load range E, the highest load range you can get for what they call a light duty truck. I'm not exactly sure what the ply is on them, but they're supposed to be rated for 10,000 pounds. So,
Yeah, you
like I
should be
said,
fine.
yeah, that's the best I can do. Well, I grew up with my folks having a slide-in camper, and I've had several before that actually weighed even more than this one, and all carried on 3/4 ton trucks, single axles. And as long as you have good tires, now you don't want to be going down the road with something that's dry rotted or anything, but as long as you have good tires, and they are the
Right.
load range E, I've never had a problem. Never had a problem with them. And
Yeah, I've always been particular about tires.
yep,
My stepfather was adamant about tires. My mom got a set of tires years ago. She had a Rambler. She bought tires for it, and they weren't decent tires. They were okay tires. And he ended up like a week later, he went down and put 4 good tires on it.
yeah,
Even though she just bought tires for him, he's like it's like those aren't good enough.
yep.
He's always been particular, and it kind of rubbed off on me.
Well,
I like to do a walk around the car before I get in to make sure I ain't got no low ones or flat ones. Or you see people, it's like driving around on a half flat tire. It's like, how did you not see that when you got in the car?
you're right.
I mean, I
Yep.
keep an air compressor. Those little booster packs with the air compressors.
Yep.
I carry one just for the air compressor.
I speaking of old Fords, Mopar nut, I've had several old 69 F250s, 4x4s, and the truck I had right before this Dodge, I bought brand new. It was a leftover 89. I bought it in January of 90, and that was a F250 4x4. And God, I paid $7,500 for it, brand new. But my old 69s, I took an AC compressor and hooked that up to them. But what we used it for was an air pump, and I had a tank. It was an old. I got one out in the shed. It was basically just an old tank that you use to fill with air so you can fill your tires or whatever.
Yeah, portable air tank.
Right. Got one of those. Hooked that up for a storage tank on it, and ran a line out to the front with a quick disconnect. So if I had to air up the tires, I could air up, add some air to tire. But not only that, my dad worked on the railroad, and he got me a set of air horns off one of the trains. And
Ooh,
those things were almost 4 feet long. They hung off out the front of the damn hood of the um, over the hood of the my truck, and I had it mounted on the roof. And yeah, I needed 150 pounds of air just to blow them for a couple seconds. Anything less than that, they wouldn't make a sound. You just hear the air going through them.
right.
But the problem was I didn't use them too much because on that old 69, it's a metal roof and it was single. It wasn't double metal. And it had the just a little perforated cardboard headliner in it. The first time I hit those air horns, that headliner come down on top of me. My vision went blurry, and I think that the little Volkswagen Rabbit in front of me went off the road. It was just wow. It was like being in an earthquake. It just shook everything on that truck. That's probably why I'm partially deaf in this ear too.
Right. No, I got a decent horn in this Valiant. Well, my uncle, he put an old 6-volt horn in it, so that 12-volt really lights it up.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I figure if they don't see me coming, they'll hear me coming.
Yep.
I usually keep a rag stuffed in it because it's so loud. It's real easy to scare people.
Yep. Yeah, out in the shed here too, I got one of those an old air raid uh siren, one of the
Yeah.
ones that you used to crank and everything.
Yep. Wind
And
them up.
yep, wind 'em and my that thing is loud. That
That's the
thing is
whole idea.
yeah, I mean I mean think about it, for something that you're cranking by hand, you'd say, "All right, this might be a little bit loud." This thing is incredibly loud. Yeah, it's unreal. Um, every now and then, 4th of July and New Year's, I'll pull it out, put it in the yard, and let the kids play with it for a little while till the cops show up, and then I put it away.
Right. Well, you got to run it once in a while, make
Yeah,
sure everything's working.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
you can hear those air raids for miles around.
yeah. My dad got it from his it was a relative married into the family, and they were over in England during World War II, and I want to say it was a cousin by marriage, something like that. He married my dad's cousin, something like that, and he was an air raid warden during World War II in England, well, Great Britain, somewhere around there,
Right.
and somehow when my dad got home after the war, he had that air raid uh, siren that he brought back with him. Uh, an M1911 Colt 45. I still have that, and a few other things that he was able to return with and brought straight home. Uh, can't get
There was a lot of that back then.
yeah, you can't get away with that nowadays.
No.
No, they frown on that,
Mm.
especially the 19, especially any weapons.
Yeah.
They kind of really frown on that. But
And
yeah,
there's lots of them stories about people. Oh yeah, Dad brought it back from the war.
yeah.
This is
Some of them,
another thing. These kids nowadays don't want to enlist. Me growing up, joining the service was a passage.
yep, yep. So you were in the service,
National Guards.
National Guard. That's close enough. That works because
Yeah.
you went through the same training. You know this, whether they're training reserve, National Guard, or full time, you all go through the same training. You
Yep.
all go through the same basic. Was it Army, Air Force? What National Guard?
Army.
Army.
Yeah, we did basics down in Fort Benning.
Okay, my brother was a drill sergeant down in Fort Benning. At the same time, I went through basic training at Fort Knox.
Ah,
Yeah, and I didn't mention a word of this to any of my drill sergeants. I did not want to draw attention to myself. So,
right.
what does my brother do?
He lets the cat out.
Oh, he calls up to check on me and talk to his fellow drill sergeants at the time. And yeah, I'm standing in formation. Campbell. Yes, drill sergeant. So, what's this? I hear that your brother's a drill instructor at Fort Benning. Son of a. Hmm.
Bit.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Yep. Yes, drill sergeant. Well, how come you didn't join the infantry and go to Fort Benning? Because my brother is a drill sergeant at Fort Benning, drill sergeant.
Right.
He said, well, don't worry. He said, he's our brother too. We'll take good care of you. I'm like, you son of a. Oh, I was so pissed at him. God, I was pissed at him.
Did it come back to bite you at all, or was everything
Every
fine?
single friggin' day after that.
They didn't let you forget, huh?
Oh, no, not one bit. Not one bit. Not one bit. But about 3 years later, though, I'm stationed out at Fort Irwin. And this is when you still had to go down and see the paymaster. It's before any electronic automatic pay went into any bank accounts or anything. You still had to go down and sign for your paycheck. I went down there and I signed for my paycheck. I opened it up. I'm like, holy shit. I got promoted to first sergeant, married, with all this extra money and everything. And I looked at the name. It was my brother's paycheck. They
Oh,
had
no
mixed
shit.
up our paychecks. And
I can believe that.
I get a call from my brother. Hey, I got my paycheck at that time. I think what was it? It was a little over $300 a month is what I was getting paid. All right. And I'm looking at his, it's $2,500. And I'm like, oh. But yeah, he calls me up wanting to know, letting me know that he got my paycheck, and he didn't realize that he hadn't gotten his. He'd talked to his paymaster. They were going to track it down. You know, he's a first sergeant, so he has a little bit more pull than what I do.
Right.
And so he figured it was going to be squared away. And he said, so he's giving me a little bit of a ribbing, a hard time. He goes, well, it's only $300. You don't really need that. The Army gives you everything you need anyway. He said, so I'm just going to go out and get some beer with this. I said, that's fine, Joey. Do whatever you want. I said, I'm looking at one right here for $2,500. He said, no way. You got my paycheck? I said, yep. That's when he got upset. That's when he was telling me, go right back down to the paymaster, turn that back in, let him know what's going on. I said, Joey, I said, you have a lot more faith in the military than I do. I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I said, it's only going to take 3 days. I'm going to mail it to you.
Yeah.
I said, I'm just going to put it in the post office. I said, I'm going to mail it to you. I said, please do the same with mine. Just mail it to me. That's it. I said, I trust the post office more than I do the paymaster. I said, think about it. These are the idiots that just swapped our checks.
Yeah, and it could have taken 6 weeks if you went the other route.
Exactly, to figure out all their bullshit paperwork that they have to do and answer, and somebody's going to say, well, it was his fault. It was his fault. They're going to figure out whose fault it was first, then take care of the problem.
Right.
Yeah. Now. Yeah, Mopar Nut, that was back when we were free. Well, a little freer than what we are now. But yeah, I agree with that. There was a lot more things we could do back then. And I mean, I'm sure you remember growing up riding in the back of pickup trucks and all this other stuff, and nobody batted an eye about it.
Part of it.
Yeah, my grandkids love playing in the back of my pickup truck. Ooh, pardon me. I got a couple nosy neighbors that were coming over. You're not taking them down the road, are you? If I see them go down the road in the back of that truck, I'm calling the cops. I'm like, no, they're not going anywhere. I said, look, I have a beer in my hand. I'm not driving anywhere. They're fine. You got a beer? You're out in the open? Yeah, I'm in a fenced-in yard. This is my property. I can have a
Right.
beer.
Still have freedom of beer in our own yard, I hope.
It's questionable. You
I
will
know.
you will get the cops called on you for an open container, but he 120 miles an hour in a U-Haul pulled by a Mach 1. Well, that works. That works. God.
We don't see too many Mach 1s with a trailer hitch.
No, you don't. I had a 71 Mach 1 when I was in the service. I picked it up out there in California. Nice car. But when I ended up going down to
73
Panama,
when I was 18.
well, same body
Turned
style.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Turned 18, moved to Mississippi with my dad. Ended up, my uncle said, kids need a car. We had to supposedly, pick out something we liked. My cousin had a 73 Mach 1 for sale. I think it was like $2,800. You
Ooh,
know, it had it repainted. This was back in 83, 84.
yep.
He had just had it repainted. It was President's Red, had a reworked 302 in it, had a mild cam in it, nothing fancy. It was more for gas mileage than it was for, but it had the chrome package, looked nice. And it's like, yeah, we want that one.
Yeah.
I ended up driving it for a year, let him have it back. We moved back here to PA because we realized why mom divorced him 20 years ago, you know. But that's all part of growing up.
Yep. I hear
I
you.
wouldn't trade that year on the Gulf Coast for nothing.
Yep.
Literally, we lived 5 blocks from the beach, Mississippi. It was Gulfport, Long Beach, Biloxi.
Yep.
That's rich.
Yep. My God.
Yeah.
Things. I moved out when I was 17, and I moved. Still lived in Massachusetts at the time, but I moved down towards Cape Cod, and me and two of my friends from high school, we graduated. When I was 17 and everything, and my God, we 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 couldn't wait. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my folks and everything; they were great, but I was also brought up, their house, their rules. You can get to be a teenager, and that sometimes causes a problem.
Yes.
But I had too much respect for my folks to blow them off, and say, well, I'm almost an adult now, so I can do what I want under your roof. No. So I
No, it
moved
didn't work
out.
that way.
No. So I moved out, got my own place, me and two of my friends. And oh my God, I loved it. I loved being out from under the folks and everything. And like I said, I had no problem with my folks. Loved them to death. They're great people. But they brought me up to be independent. And I
Yeah.
did the same with my kids. They all moved out when they were young, you know.
Yeah. I never kicked mine out, but they moved out on
Yep.
their own when it was ready.
Yep.
I mean,
Same
my youngest son, he was I think 26 when he moved out, but I never kicked him out. You know, he always I won't say he had his run of the place, but he took care of himself,
Yep.
paid his own bills. He grew up working at Burger King like all the other kids, Burger King, Wendy's, whatever. It's fast food joints. It's where kids learn to go to work.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
My
he bought
my
his first car from Burger King,
my
but when he moved out, he bought his own house. He didn't rent. I didn't
oh, there
even
you
know
go.
I didn't even know he's looking for a house. He's like, "Yep, bought a house." Hey,
Yeah, there you go. Nothing
and
wrong with that.
he's a couple years into it. That he doesn't really have a girlfriend. He says they're too damn expensive.
They are nowadays.
Yeah,
When we were growing up, I mean, they've been out there forever. The expensive ones and everything. But most of the time, when we were younger, growing up, you met a girl. They understood it's a partnership. It's two way. And yes, especially with us growing up as well. Men had certain responsibilities that were taken for granted or were expected of you. Same with women, and that has changed a little bit, but not by that much. If you have a good woman and she has a good man, it's a partnership.
mm-hmm.
And what your faults are and what you're lacking and things that you're not good at, your wife is there to take up
Picks
the
up the
slack,
slack.
and vice versa.
Yeah,
And it's a
yeah,
partnership.
it's a
That's
two
the way it
part
should
deal.
be. Yeah.
Yep. So I got fortunate when I hooked up. I got to say, and I still got my original wife. We've been together. Oh, hell, I'd have to do the math anymore, honey. That's one thing she's good about is remembering shit.
Oh, tell me about it. Now, here, this is where I got myself in trouble. All right. The wife I'm with now, and I love her to death. Perfect. Something I've been looking for all my life. Unfortunately, I went through one more before her. Okay. And their birthdays are 1 day apart.
Oh,
Oh, you have no idea. I've learned now after being together 22 years. It's been ingrained in the brain here. I
uh-huh.
know whose is who.
Finally getting them birthdays right.
Oh yeah, but before, at least for the first 3 years, oh, it's so easy to screw up. Now,
Hmm. I'm sure you did too.
just about every year. Yep,
Just about every year.
just about every year. Yep. And now the only problem is the anniversary. Oh, I am terrible. Thank God for Facebook. It gives me a 3-day warning. Thank
Yes.
God for Facebook. Oh,
Yeah. I remember mine, September 30th.
yeah, I'm not.
It was a Friday.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I remember the day. I just don't remember the date.
Well, we was together 9 years before we got married.
Yeah, I was with my wife now for about 8 years before we got married, and that's because both of us have been married before and everything. And a matter of fact, 2 weeks before my wedding, I was up on an old outbuilding that I had, and it had a tin roof on it. And we're having the wedding in the backyard. At the time, we had a huge backyard, very nice looking backyard too. And I was up there and I was painting it. And the wife hollers out the door, "Get off of there before you hurt yourself." And I turned to tell her I knew what I was doing. I come down off that roof and broke 3 friggin' ribs.
You'd have been fine if she hadn't have said anything.
Yep. 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 And she comes running out because she said she felt me hit the ground, you know. And oh, I hit hard. And I'm just laying on the ground trying to breathe and everything.
Yeah.
She's going, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" "Oh my God, he's not talking." I'm like, "Well, I knocked the wind out of myself. So yeah, it's going to take me a minute."
Yeah, it does take a minute when you.
But here's the other interesting thing. You have to understand too. My ex-wife and my now current wife, they were good friends. As a matter of fact, my ex-wife set me up with my wife now. She introduced us and said, because when I divorced my wife, it was just because we'd grown apart. There was
I
no
understand.
animosity or anything. And to this day, we're still good friends, all 3 of us. And
Well, it
everything.
happens a lot. People just grow apart.
Yeah, and that was it. So there was no animosity or anything like that. But anyway, she was over there helping the wife get the wedding arrangements and everything set up. So here I am, rushed to the hospital with my fiance and my ex-wife.
Oh, nice.
Okay, right there. And the doctor comes into me and he goes, "Your fiance and your ex-wife are out there waiting for you. Should we let them in?" I looked at him. I said, "Doc, do you really think I fell off a roof?" "No, don't let them in. They're going to kill me."
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, he said, are you serious?" I was like, "No, I'm kidding. I actually did fall off a damn roof." I said, "That's why you see the paint all over me as well. I was painting a
Right.
roof." "Well, how do you paint a roof?" I said, "It was a tin roof. It wasn't shingled. It was a tin roof." He goes, "Oh, okay. So it's okay to let them in?" I said, "Yeah, it's fine to let them both in." I said, "It's fine." One of those things you really had to be there to appreciate the humor of the whole situation.
Right.
But yeah,
At least he was looking out for you.
yeah, I appreciated that. I should have asked him, but I'm pretty sure he probably had several ex-wives, and that's why he was wondering.
See them both out there.
Yeah.
Well, at least he had something to talk about over dinner with his wife.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
You never guess what come into the ER today. Fiance and an ex-wife.
Yep. With with the guy that said he was painting a roof and fell off a roof. It's
Yeah,
kind
painting a
kind of
roof. Yeah.
yeah, kind of sounded a little sketchy to me, so I had to go ask them if that was true
Are
or
you
if I
sure you
needed.
didn't fall down the steps?
Yeah.
All right, go away, cat.
It-
I was gonna say I could quit smoking if it wasn't for this cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get your finger out for it.
Here's the sad part. I'm a truck driver and I work at Philip Morris. That's where we're subcontracted to. So
Uh,
I haul these things and everything that makes them to different places, just at the manufacturing center now. I do make some deliveries, but they're not actual cigarettes. It's other products and other stuff that goes into making them. I either go deliver it for testing or pick up the materials. But yeah, yeah, I can't win. I'm surrounded by them.
yeah. Yeah.
But
How long?
one,
I was gonna
what
say
was
how long you been driving truck?
Uh, I've been driving a truck steady, full time since '92, but I did it part time and on and off since '86. Both we, it's funny. This is before the CDL came out. I was in the service, okay, and I wasn't a truck driver. I was a scout. Um, but I had in the military. You know this. You had to get licensed for different vehicles that you drove.
Yeah.
And so I had a list that long of different, vehicles I was licensed for, military license. And my driver's license, my civilian driver's license had expired when I was in the service. Okay. Now it's still good as long as you're active military. So I didn't plan on renewing it till I went home on leave, which was about 6 months later. So my civilian license had been expired for 6 months. And I went to DMV. And at first, the girl was like, "Well, it's been expired too long. We have to fill this out and that out." Finally, her supervisor came by and said, "No, he's active military. His license is actually still good. Just treat it like a regular renewal." And at the time, I had what they called a class 3 license, just your regular license in
Yes.
Massachusetts. And anyway, she said, "Well, okay, well, you're in the military. What were you driving in? They give you a military license?" And just kind of making small talk, as she's doing her paperwork and everything.
Mhm.
And I happened to have it, and I sent it out to her, and it had all these trucks, different, the deuce and a half to 5 ton, M88, M551 AR AAV tanks, M60 tanks, all the shit I was licensed for. She looks at this and she was asking me about them, and I told them what they were. She goes, "Oh, so do you drive any combination vehicles?" I said, "Well, no, I haven't. I haven't gotten my license for that yet." And I said, "When I get back, they'll probably give it to me." She goes, "Oh, okay. Well, I can't do anything about that, but we can give you a class 2." She said, "I'm going to put you in as a class 2 license, which nowadays would be the same as a class B CDL." I was like, "All right, cool." And so when they came out with the CDLs, I was automatically grandfathered into having a CDL.
Yep.
And so yeah. So that's why I say I've been doing it full time, and I upgraded it to class A, with hazmat doubles and triples and all that, tankers and everything else over time. But yeah, I've been driving full time since right after Desert Storm, because they called me back in for Desert Storm. I started driving full time. But I've had the CDL ever since they came out with it in somewhere around the same time, 90, 91. And before that, I had like I said, a class 2 license. And, I mean, my dad taught me how to drive a 10-wheel dump truck with the double shifts, a 1959 International Harvester, when I was about 9 years old. So I mean, I've been driving trucks and stuff ever since I guess I was 9. But legally, since 86, and full time since 92, 91, 92.
How many miles you figure you have?
Um,
You ever think about that? I'm sure.
yeah, it's been a while. So I know 10 years ago I hit the 10 years ago I hit 5 million miles.
Wow, that a
Um,
boy.
and since then I haven't kept up with it. I don't know. So probably 7, 8 million miles. I don't know, somewhere
That's a
around there.
bunch.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It it doesn't help when I tell the insurance company that, because then they raise my rates, and I'm
A
like,
lot.
well, why would you raise my rates? Because I'm not doing this in my personal vehicle. Well, they look at averages. The more often you're on the road, the more likely it is you're going to have an accident. It's not
Yeah.
like, well, I've built my skill up, so I'm good at avoiding them because I haven't been in any in 20 years. Uh, shouldn't that give me a break? Nope. You have a CDL and you have this many miles under your belt, so it's just a matter of time now. So we're going to raise your rate. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Cocksuckers. They get you
Mhm.
any way they can.
Yeah.
You think with that experience they would give you a little bit of a credit for it, but
Oh, you would think so. I mean, I got plus 5 points. I don't have anything. I'm perfectly perfect
clean record.
driving. Yeah, clean record. And it's been that way for over 20 years.
Hmm.
But no, I get penalized because I have a CDL and I drive a shitload of miles. The only thing this has helped me with is that I also have hazmat. And the background check for the hazmat, hazardous materials, is
Yeah,
more intense than the background check for a concealed carry permit.
I believe that.
Yeah. And so when I go to renew it and everything, uh first time I went to apply for it and get one, they said, "Well, you have CDL with hazmat." Oh, okay. 2 days later, I had my permit, my concealed carry permit. Because basically I'd already gone through a more intensive background check for the hazmat than they did for the concealed carry.
All right, I can see that.
And so if I passed the one, it's pretty much a rubber stamp on the second one.
Nowadays, with all those animals out there, you almost have to conceal carry, especially if you over the road.
Well, here's the thing. Working for a company, they don't allow you, if you're an owner operator, you can get away with it. But working for a company as a company driver,
Yeah, they frown on it.
well, they outright say no. And two, especially if you go from state to state to state, one permit does not cover everything.
Right.
Each state is different, so you have to check in and be careful for that. What might be legal in Virginia, and I've had this happen, was not legal in Maryland, the very next state over. They did not, well, back at the time, I don't know if they do now, but back in the time, they didn't honor Virginia concealed carry. So even though everything's legal in Virginia, if I went over the state line, unless it was locked up out of my reach, it was illegal. And even if it was locked up out of my reach, I'm still transporting a firearm over state lines.
Yeah. I mean, God forbid you would need it in a situation, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's been some places you've rolled into. It's like, I don't know about this place.
Oh, New York. of all places, one of the strictest gun laws. New York, my truck got shot. Fortunately, I didn't. But yeah, New York City, I'm talking about. New York State is beautiful, but
Yeah,
New
my
York,
brother lives up Buffalo, but
yep,
I remember I went to JFK once or twice, for people catching flights. It's like never again. I don't even like driving into the city, let alone too much for me.
yeah. Well, same here.
I like the small little hick towns. I mean, we got a population here, I think 23,000, and it's plenty. We already got enough. We already got enough trouble even with that many people.
Oh, I understand that. It's funny. Well, I said I moved out when I was 17. I moved to a little town called Cedarville. It's 2 miles away from the Cape Cod Canal, still on the mainland though. They had two signs: population, permanent population in the winter was only 308 people. That was it.
Wow.
In the summer, it went up to 30,000.
Wow. Everybody going south for the winter.
Well, yeah, a lot of it down there at the time was just summer cottages and just
Okay.
summer homes, and so that's why during the summer the population would increase incredibly, but nobody stayed down there during the fall and winter, and can't say I blame them. The snow removal down there was terrible. I mean, there wasn't enough people, didn't have enough equipment. But yeah, me personally, I prefer the small towns myself, but just due to logistics, gas prices, and everything else, and job, I'm living in the suburbs of Virginia. Highland Springs is what it's called, and it's actually, yeah, just right on the outskirts of Richmond.
I stopped in to say hello. Didn't realize I was going to hang out for 2 hours.
Oh my God, yeah, I got you, man.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, we finally got sun after a week. Been raining all week up here. I'm Central PA, so we've been wet.
Oh, I got you. Well, you're not too far away. Then again, this is coming from a truck driver. Friggin' Georgia is not too far away from me either. Uh, yeah, it's funny. Years ago, I used to go up to Massachusetts, visit the folks when they were still alive, and everyone every summer. And driving up there was not a big deal. Even with the kids when they were younger and all the stops, it was about 10 hours. Uh, Without the stops, or if I went at night when the kids were asleep, I could do it in anywhere between 8, 9 hours to get up there. And my sister and my folks, they'd always sit there and they go, "Well, aren't you tired and everything? You just drove from Virginia up here." I was like, "You realize I drive 10, 11 hours every day for work?" And I said, "My work day is usually 14 to 15 hours long to begin with." I said, "A 9 hour drive from Virginia to Massachusetts is nothing." I said, "No, I'm not tired. I'm good to go." And they had a hard time understanding that. But when I would talk to them on the phone and actually say, "Yeah, well, I got to let you go. I got to get up and go to work tomorrow." Well, all you do is sit and drive. How hard can that be? Yeah, make up your mind. Make up your mind. If I can drive a car, which is a lot more comfortable than the truck. Oh, hey, you're lost. You're on mute or something. Lost the mic. Yeah, I can't hear you. You must when you hit the phone or did something like that, you must have turned your mic off.
Nah, I had a phone call quick I had to take.
Oh,
It's
okay.
over now.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking
I
to me.
was talking on the phone. I was trying to talk out the side of my mouth over here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, man.
Oh,
I'm
that's okay.
sorry.
No, we're good. It's over now. Now we're supposed to go get some. My sister wants some raised garden beds where she's in the deal of acquiring. So of course we get nominated to go pick them up.
You just reminded me of another project I have to make. Is I got to make 3 raised garden beds for a friend of mine. I forgot all about that. Damn.
Damn, put it on the list.
Yep. Yep. Well, speaking of which, then I guess it's warmed up good enough. I got some work to do on some vehicles, and I don't want to keep you for the rest of the day. Well, actually, I do because I'm enjoying myself. But when the wife gets home and finds out I didn't do jack shit, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah,
I,
the wife kind of gave me a little and pointed towards me.
yeah, I got you. Hey, man, thank you for popping in. And yeah, I'm gonna leave this video up. I'm not. A lot of times I'll erase the videos or delete them,
Right.
the live stream, but I'm gonna leave this one up. When you see it tomorrow, do me a favor, go right in the comments or the next time you see it, if you happen to, go in the comments, put your YouTube channel up
Yeah,
there.
I'll
And
leave a comment. People can click on my name and follow me that way.
yeah, and I will pin it so it stays at the top.
All right.
All
I'll
right.
do that.
And like I said, I don't have a whole lot of followers. I don't have a whole lot of subscribers, but
Yeah, me either. Mostly it's saying this my channel. I wanted the 500 for No Name Nationals,
mhm.
but half the other half of is like 20 years from now. If whoever ends up with these Valiants after I'm done with them, they'll kind of get an idea of what I did with the car, and it's like a photo album from 30 years ago. But
Or
they're
if
video albums nowadays.
if you remember the home movies, growing up watching the home movies, that's the way I kind of look at this
Yeah,
is
it's
that
going to be home movies 30
yeah,
years from now.
exactly. Only unlike the ones I grew up with, these ones will have sound. I
Yeah.
grew up with the old 8 millimeter and super 8 millimeter,
Yep,
reels.
my mom still she has boxes full of that projector and everything.
Yeah, well, I did too,
I
but
have a bunch of throwaway
unfortunately,
cameras that still has pictures on them.
oh my God. But yeah, I have boxes of them too, but unfortunately, they're all turning to dust. They're
Yep.
just, yep,
Yeah, they don't last over the years. Like they were good for 20 years, but 40
yep.
years no.
All right, buddy. Well, I'm gonna let you go, and hey, you never know. I don't usually um, advertise when I'm on, but if you see me on, it's usually going to be a Saturday or a Sunday when I have time, and
And the wife
most
is.
likely when the wife's at work too. Don't tell her I said that.
The wife said it's in the wife's at work.
Yeah. Yep.
No, I'll look for you.
All right, man.
I found you today. It's like, oh, Sidewinder.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool, buddy. Hey, it was good talking to you. But
Yeah, it's nice chatting with you too.
yeah, and before I make this a 30-minute goodbye, I'm gonna click the button here that says end stream. So you take care, man.
All right, you too, buddy.
You need to get this done.
All right.